Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Call of Duty Modern Warfare video. Now the patch for 1.07 just was released right now, like just after midnight here on Friday. Honestly, I probably thought this would be released earlier in the morning, but who knows, the midnight release for the patch notes is pretty crazy. They're getting wild with it this year. Of course, we have the new maps, which they say are going live on Friday, ... So I don't think the maps are out right now, but probably they'll be out in the morning or in the afternoon or who knows. But I'm going to read through these patch notes right here, give my honest opinions on a lot of this stuff, especially the weapon balance changes, perk balance changes, and the stuff that really matters into this game. Patch 1.07 live across all platforms. If you could drop a like on this thing, let's go ahead and smash that like button. Let's go for 931 likes. That'd be absolutely incredible. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new and not already subscribed. On that road to 1 million subscribers, we're getting so close, and I really do appreciate everyone supporting. Y'all are absolutely amazing. Let's go ahead and get right into this. So obviously they say new playlist and a new mode, which I talked about before, going live on Friday, ... Whatever that means on the patch notes, because today's Friday, so some point today, Hardpoint is now in rotation. Shoot House 24/7. This includes a mixture of Team Deathmatch, Domination, Kill Confirmed, and Headquarters. And then, of course, we also have the new map into Ground War, which is the Krovnik farmland, Shoot House 6v6. So it looks like this is honestly what I was predicting. I was thinking back to COD Ghost, and I was like, Strike Zone 24/7 kind of saved that game whenever they got in trouble. Shoot House 24/7, maybe this is their sort of attempt at round 2. Maybe that's going to be something to sort of save 6v6 for people that don't really like the maps. But yeah, all the new content is available for everyone for free across all platforms. Let's go ahead and break down right into these patch notes. So first of all, they fixed a bunch of bugs and stuff. I don't really want to read out all that stuff because this game is bugged to all heck. So I'll put that up on the screen if you guys are interested in different bugs. Obviously, they have fixed some with this update like they do every single time. I will throw that up onto the screen. Next, let's go ahead and talk in depth into things that basically balance changes and the stuff that's really, you know, the brute of what's going to be changed in this update. So first of all, here we have with Claymores. Claymores have been a big topic. They say detonating an enemy Claymore with bullets is now non-lethal when at full health. We've also reduced the trigger and damage radius and also reduced the damage width to better match the trigger width. So yeah, they did it to them. They basically reduced the trigger and damage radius, so the blast radius. This is kind of what I predicted for Claymores as well. Hey, dude, you know, maybe I should get a job at this place, man. How am I predicting this stuff? Anyway, you know, detonating an enemy Claymore with bullets is now non-lethal when at full health. That is nice because I remember this happened to me a couple times. I'm standing on like the side of a Claymore, I think I'm safe, and I shoot it and it blows up and kills you. So that's gonna be very, very helpful. And reducing the trigger and damage radius and also reducing the damage width to better match the trigger width. So yeah, this is some big changes to Claymores. Obviously, we don't know how significant this is going to be, but if this absolutely kills the Claymores, I guess people are just gonna switch over to bouncing Betties, and that will probably become the new meta. So that's definitely interesting. But yeah, Claymores, it looks like they've been nerfed fairly significantly. So that's something that is definitely gonna be good for the player base overall. We'll have to wait and see to how people just adapt, bro, to this, and if they start throwing down Betties or if people switch over to grenades and the gameplay becomes a lot more fluid. Anyway, battle chatter. Remove the ability for enemies to hear when they've been called out by the opposing team. We've also adjusted the enemy callouts so they are never from your operator. Enemy callouts now use a more restricted cone at the hip and even more restricted in ADS when calculating whether or not to trigger. We'll continue to monitor this and make additional tweaks to battle chatter in future updates. Now, what battle chatter is obviously when basically the players would call out, whether they're yelling contact, whether they're yelling he's by the bus, even though the whole map is made of buses. That's kind of funny. That was kind of a meme when I saw people talking about that. You know, they'll see like footsteps or someone's feet right underneath the bus, and they'll yell, "He's by the bus." You're just looking around like this whole map of Piccadilly is literally buses. Anyway, yeah, battle chatter tweaks is very, very good. That's something that added into this game. I mean, have we ever really had a problem with stuff like this in previous CODs? It seems like this battle chatter thing was just made problems that sort of were non-existent in other CODs. But hopefully these changes will. Obviously, this is the first big meaty patch update that we got in this game. We got patch 1.06, but 1.07, this is definitely very, very more significant. Definitely the first big patch we've got 2 weeks in. Next, mounting. A slight increase to recoil when mounting. This is nice because honestly, mounting is pretty overpowered how it was before. You basically would have no recoil and the ability to laser people. Even if you do have recoil, my thing with recoil in this game is you kill so fast, you kill people in 2 bullets or 3 bullets. By the time you notice the recoil, you've already gotten a triple kill. That's sort of a thing I say about it. Mounting with a slight increase to recoil definitely is interesting, and hopefully, you know, I guess you could say encourages people to move around a little bit more, not just mount up on a doorway and dominate in ground war. Next is perks. EOD now clamps damage to a non-lethal amount, assuming the player is at full health. So that is very good. Basically, if you're at full health, you shouldn't be dying to any sort of explosives. That's what I'm reading out of that description. EOD now clamps damage to a non-lethal amount, assuming the player is at full health. Yep. So if you have EOD on, no matter what, if you stand right next to the grenade, it sounds like it shouldn't blow you up. That's very interesting, and this perk is really strong, honestly, especially with the shotgun nerfs coming, which kind of kills overkill a little bit. Overkill's still going to be good. EOD is probably coming in at the #1 perk slot. Next is lighting. Continued updates to players' visibility in dark windows and dark areas. This was honestly needed, and probably one of the bigger complaints about this game is sometimes when they were in doorways or on staircases, they blended in with the map, the players, just because of the lighting. You know, there's no lights inside of the buildings, and you could barely even see some players. By the time you see their laser sight, they're gunning you down, and it was kind of ridiculous. So I thought that was one thing that was really felt like the game was unfinished, like lighting problems. That's something that shouldn't be happening in Call of Duty, so hopefully this fixes a lot of that stuff. Next is footsteps. We've increased the occlusion percentage to filter footstep sounds behind geometry and adjusted the footstep volume at a distance. We have another large footstep change coming in the next update, which will make crouch and ADS movement significantly quieter. Stay tuned. Okay, so it looks like this is part 1 to the footstep update. I mean, they already did part 1, but that was kind of third person, not as big. So this looks like it's the big part of part 1, where filter footstep sounds behind geometry and adjusted the footstep volume at a distance. So this is going to be pretty nice. Of course, they're saying in the next update, I don't know why we couldn't have got it in this update, that will make crouch and ADS movement speed significantly quieter, because that's one thing that I definitely was complaining about, is that when you're crouch walking, especially if you're using a perk, like I like to run double time, which increases your crouch walk movement speed by whatever, 30%, that should be very important. You should be quieter. Like the whole point to doing that is that you should be quieter, right? So it looks like footsteps is not fully fixed, but definitely some good changes. And next update, stay tuned, and we're obviously going to be getting that fixed a little bit more. Challenges. Daily challenges and active missions are getting a full sweep of testing and fixes. We'll have more updates to these systems in future updates. So I'll put that up on the screen right now. I don't really want to read out all these out. Obviously, the challenges and the missions were having an unbelievable amount of bugs. And on this, I'm kind of torn. It's kind of like, it's weird when you release a game and there's just so many bugs. It's, you know, the common sense thing for us as players to be like, is like, did you even test this game? But I don't know. Maybe it's hard. Obviously, it's harder than it seems. We're not game designers. At least they're actually updating this stuff and they're fixing it. So hopefully every challenge should be fixed. Obviously, we'll have more updates to these systems in future updates. That makes me think that, hey, we may still be getting some bugs that will be annoying, but hopefully less of them. Now, let's get right into the meaty stuff right here with the weapons. Weapon balance, there's a lot of weapon balance, and this game needed it. This is one that, like, some things, like the mini Uzi before this update, it was like, that weapon in no way was balanced. It was just too weak. It really was just too weak, and you can just look at the raw stats of the weapon. I don't know why they thought it would be good to release like that, as well as some weapons being too strong, but let's get into it. 725 shotgun. This is the Olympia. This is the overpowered weapon that everyone's been talking about. Increased to ADS and hipfire spread and reduced damage range. So there they go. They hit it. They made it so the ADS and the hipfire and the hip spread is going to be worse. So you're probably going to be getting more hit markers with it, as well as reducing the damage range. They really hit this thing. Obviously, just reading the patch notes, they don't actually give us percentages, about 20% nerf to reduced range or whatever it is, but it does look like they hit this thing in 3 areas where it hurts, right? I mean, your spread on ADS, which is probably what you would use the most. Even the hip fire was amazing on this weapon. And then the damage range, being the fact you get one-shot kills at ridiculous ranges, looks like this will definitely be tuned down to be more of a balanced weapon. Next is the M4A1 assault rifle. They reduced the damage range and did a small recoil increase. So this is interesting. Reducing the damage range means that because this weapon it kills so fast and was pretty easy to control, you know, you could compete with some of the longer range weapons with a weapon that was made more for mid-long range, you could say, as an AR like this. So reducing the damage range allows that, where your time to kill is going to be extended at the longer ranges, and a small recoil increase. This is going to be interesting. Once again, my opinion on recoil in this game is sort of like, the guns don't really have that much recoil, especially if you put the right attachments on them. And even if they do, if you learn to just pull down on that right thumbstick, by the time you literally kill people so freaking fast in this game. I've been playing Call of Duty for a decade straight, literally a decade straight, and I'm telling you, this game, the time to kill is ridiculous. It's not just that we're coming out of Black Ops 4. That obviously adds insult to injury, because Black Ops 4 was probably the slowest time to kill Call of Duty game because it had 150 health. Now we're into basically, I would say, the fastest time to kill game. I can't really think of a game game that kills faster than this. Some people might say MW2 or something, but it really doesn't. The time to kill in this game, you can look at the raw stats, it's really, really fast. So a small recoil increase, we're gonna have to see how that hits the M4. Assault rifles, increased hip spread to reduce effectiveness up close, less damage at long range for full auto 5.56 assault rifles. So here we go. The hip spread is now going to be worse. Hipfire was pretty redonkulous on some of these assault rifles. I mean, hipfire on almost all the guns in this game. Almost everything in this game is overpowered. But, the hipfire was one thing that was overpowered. So that's going to be reduce effectiveness up close by, of course, increasing the hip spread where your bullets go. And then less damage at long range for full auto 5.56 rifles. So any of those rifles using 5.56 ammo, I don't know off the top of my head what they all are. I'm not an ammo freaking expert in this game. I play the game. I try to kill people. I try to get some good gameplays and talk about the game. I really am not an expert on the ammo, but you can definitely just check in the weapons. What they did for that is, once again, less damage at long range for full auto 5.56 rifles. Next is the SMGs. Increased move speed, increased ADS move speed, small reduction in sprint out time. So this is pretty impressive. Basically an overall buff to a bunch of the SMGs. And I like this because this game really felt like it was designed for posting up and camping with an assault rifle. But there are some SMGs that were deadly. The MP5 and the MP7, ooh, those things are melt machines. Don't forget about the P90 or don't forget about some of the other SMGs as well. I know people are going to say, shout out to the Bison, Goblin. Shout out to the Bison. So, hey, I'll shout out the Bison as well. They're all pretty good at being effective at close range. Now, increasing your movement speed, increasing your ADS movement speed, and a small reduction in sprint out time. This is going to be significant. And I'm looking through the patch notes. They didn't nerf the MP5. They didn't nerf the MP7. So this might be, MP5 definitely just shot up the charts to one of the best guns in the game if it wasn't there already. That's really going to be interesting. I'm definitely going to be spamming that in 6v6 probably on, Shoot House 24/7 or whatever. We might see an MP5 fest on that map. Just a precursor warning. I'm going to put that out there, and let's see if that prediction comes true. Who knows? That's just something I'm going to say, just judging off these patch notes. Even the MP7, I mean, those two, some people still debate about which one is better. It obviously depends what you're trying to do. Personally, I like the, what is it called? The 10mm ammo on the MP5. I think that is absolutely amazing. Next is the Uzi SMG, increased damage range. This is nice. I don't know if this will be big enough a buff to make the Uzi very, very good in this game, but that's something, right? Increasing the damage range, that's good for the Uzi. The MG34 LMG, they increased the hip spread, damage range reduction, and a small ADS slowdown. For the M91 LMG, they increased the hip spread and a small damage range reduction. For the PKM, they increased the hip spread and a medium damage range reduction. So your hip fire is going to be trash on the LMGs, which is kind of, it should be, right? You're using an LMG, but the other side of that is that you have a small damage range reduction on the M91, a medium damage range reduction on the PKM, and a damage range reduction overall on the MG34, as well as a small ADS slowdown. So this is pretty significant. I actually have a video probably coming out in the next couple days or so talking about the best LMG, and now I'm going to have to, test because of these changes. But it looks like they sort of hit the 3 LMGs that are really good in this game with very similar nerfs, so they'll probably still be on a similar playing field to how they were before, but LMGs obviously were just a little bit too strong, especially judging off the ground war, posting up, and all that sort of stuff. So that's some good changes. Next is pistols. They increase the move speed, reduce the sprint out time, and increase the damage range. This is nice now. Obviously, if you pull out your pistol, you're going to be running a bit quicker. So if you want to be moving across the map, a lot of people would run the knife secondary. You can do it with a pistol as well. The pistols in this game, reducing the sprint out time and increasing the damage range. I don't know if that's going to make them really, really good. Maybe ones like the Deagle or the 357 or whatever, that's probably going to help them quite a bit. But at the end of the day, in a weapon where, or not in a weapon, in a game where a lot of the weapons are just ridiculously OP, how can you compete with a pistol? You can't really expect it to, especially when people say, it's realistic, it's realistic. Well, if you want realism, we don't really want realism, right? We want Call of Duty to be good. But if you're one of those people that, hey, I want it to all be 100% realistic, in real life, I'm not a gun expert, but I don't think if you have a pistol and the other person has an M4, I don't think that's not gonna go too well for you, right? Next is crouch and prone no longer adjust recoil. This was something that was kind of shady, where basically if you were crouched or prone, your recoil patterns were kind of messing up. I think that might have been unintentional, but it looks like they've definitely fixed that. Next, we have some other things for the CDL rule sets, cyber attacks fixing some bugs, and ground war fixing some bugs. And we also have special ops, quite a few stuff fixed for special ops. I will show that up on the screen. Also, for you players who play Spec Ops, personally, I'm more of a multiplayer guy myself. But yeah, that's what we have as far as these patch updates and patch notes. Once again, I don't know when these maps are going to be out. They might be out right right now, I really don't know. It says coming out Friday, ... The communication with Activision is a little bit weird, but hey, at least they put up, it's a midnight update or 1 a.m. update or whatever, but at least we got patch notes right away. Sometimes in Black Ops 4, like, they would wait like 5 hours to put up the patch notes and just leave me literally sitting there scratching my head trying to break my monitor in. And now sometimes in Fortnite even, they don't even give patch notes in Fortnite. So I don't know what's happened in 2019, but I guess we got to take what we can get. So thank you to the lords of Infinity Ward and Activision for blessing us with this beautiful patch notes. I'm just kidding, guys, but obviously we got these notes. Looks like this is going to be a good update overall, and yeah, actually, it really looks like a good update, to be honest. A lot of the weapon balances stuff I'm most interested in, and then the maps, and thank goodness it's a 24/7 playlist, so people that don't like a lot of the 6v6 maps, if Shoot House is your style, obviously we have to play and experience it, you can just spam that 24/7, rank up, grind, and definitely gonna be fun for SMGs. This is a great update for SMGs, for sure. Drop a like, subscribe, I'll catch you on the next one, and that's about it. I'm out. Peace.